What's going on, everybody? Peace, love, and happiness. Scott Valad here, and today I'm going to be talking about my drug-induced psychosis or spiritual awakening. Here we go. Woo! So today, yes, I'm going to be discussing and talking about my drug-induced psychosis that I had back in May of this year. No, sorry. Was it May? April. It was April. I was in the hospital May. So in April of 2020, I was in the drug-induced psychosis, or as I kind of realize now, it was a spiritual awakening of some sorts compared to just a drug-induced psychosis. So I was a huge stoner. I don't smoke anymore. I'm sober now, but I used to smoke weed all the time, nonstop, poppers with a cigarette in them, every day basically. And once quarantine hit, then I started really just smoking all day, non-stop, drinking occasionally throughout the week, and I started getting into Xanax laced weed, doing Xanax, that type of thing. And at some point, I don't know if it was the LSD that actually triggered a full on psychosis, but I was very delusional while smoking the Xanax laced weed and just weed in general. I was very out of reality. And when it came to uh, sleeping, I wasn't sleeping much. I was trying to stay up for weeks or for days on end and sleep like once or twice a week, which ended up resulting in a not so good experience. But at the same time, it was a very eye-opening experience and helped me become sober and um, realize there is more to this world than we think. But at the same time, so yeah, like I was saying, I was smoking nonstop. I was getting very delusional in a lot of areas because I wasn't sleeping. I was doing so much drugs, that kind of thing. So I got an idea. I should do acid. I think it was 350 UGs of LSD, and I cut it up into three because I was afraid of taking it all at once. I wasn't sure what was gonna happen, and well, turns out I had an awakening, a psychosis awakening. And when it came to taking the acid, I took, yeah, so like a third of it. And I don't really know if it kicked in or when it kicked in or when I became psychotic, but I ended up rearranging my room. So, because first of all, I thought it was Jesus. I thought I was a reincarnation of Jesus. I knew a little bit about spirituality before, but I didn't go fully in depth until after the hospital. I did a lot of research. I'm always learning, but at the same time, I realized that religion and spirituality is separate. And when I took that acid and I thought it was Jesus, I started going super crazy. I was like, okay, I'm special, I'm important, I'm powerful, I'm a prophet. I came here to help humanity. I mean, I still believe that I am here to help assist in the ushering in of the fifth dimension and help people wake up, expand their consciousness, that type of thing. But I'm not no prophet like Jesus per se. And when I came, when I was in my bedroom, I started rearranging different things in the room, like being super specific about things. Like there's a bent piece of metal and that was where time bent, and then time's proper now. I had a Buddha and I had these all different things. My bed was the cloud and it was heaven, and now I'm bringing heaven on earth, and a bunch of different things that wouldn't make sense to the normal person, but to me everything just had logic behind it. Everything, even if I didn't know something, I didn't try and put the pieces together in a way to disprove my theories. It kind of just all made sense and all the logic behind it, even if it didn't. And once I took that acid and I was kind of just going super crazy in my bedroom, I ended up completing whatever I had to complete at the time in my head, whatever mission I was on. So I ended up taking a 2-inch nail. I put my hand on a cigar box, just a wooden box, and I stabbed it into my hand. I reached super far back and I was like, ah! I think I screamed while doing it. Stabbed in my hand. You can't see the scar anymore. It was somewhere, it was like right there on the line. Luckily, it didn't hit anything severe in my hand. And I'm not gonna lie, it was in there for a few seconds. And then as I pull it out, it didn't bleed. What I remember, it didn't bleed for about 10 seconds. And it was very relieving. I felt super relieved that I just felt like all this negative energy and all this stress just kind of came out of my body for that few moments that it happened. And then my mom comes up the stairs and she was like, "What the fuck you doing?" Whatever. And then I ended up just showering. We wrapped it up. I was like, I think I'm Jesus stuff. She was just kind of going through a lot of stress because actually her mom in England died a few days before. So I was kind of going through a lot of stress too with that whole death. And I'm in Canada, Ontario, Canada. And she was stressing over that. She was having to worry about the flights, all that type of thing, to go attend the funeral. And once that happened, I think it was like the next day, I still thought I was Jesus. So I put like a Kate Spade blanket over myself, shorts, swimming shorts, a tank top, and all this necklace stuff, weird stuff I was putting on my hands, drawings, glass. I take glass in my hands and stuff like that. And I just took a walk to the lake, or to where the lake is, but it's the one side of the city. It's like cliffs. So it's like steep cliffs, except where there's a path where it begins. It's kind of like, it's where the drain comes out from a certain part in the city, wherever it just leads out to the lake. So I'm on this concrete ledge. It's about 25 feet up in the air, and it's May, so it's freezing out, and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and I just have a blanket over me wrapped around. So when I'm walking down to there, I pop the other 2 tabs of acid, or the other 2 parts of the acid, and I don't know if anything actually happened. I feel like I got more delusional at that point, and I started walking down. I was like, oh, I'm Jesus, I'm gonna go part this Red Sea or the lake or something. I don't know what was gonna happen, but everything had logic to it, right? And once I got there, I sat down for a little while. I contemplated. I was like, what do I have to do? Something said, jump off that cliff. So like I said, so like 20-25 feet, and the water was pretty high, so it seemed safe enough. I had this fear that there was gonna be like something that was gonna impale me, and I was just gonna be lying there and just be like, oh, I sacrificed, and I was gonna get sucked up to heaven and then come back down. A bunch of different theories I had going through my head, but I didn't know what. But it all had logic, it all had meaning behind it, and something said just do it. So after about 20 minutes of sitting there, I just took a leap of faith. I ran off this cliff, jumped, spun around, and then I landed right on my back in the water. I hit the bottom of the ground. It wasn't too deep. It wasn't too shallow, but it wasn't too deep. And once I landed, I kind of hopped up, and I thought I was just going to get swept out by some sort of current that was going to pull me out, even though I wasn't far from the shore. And then I climbed up the side of this dirt, muddy mountainside. And it was super steep, so I'm like pulling trees. I'm like, this is what happened in something, Jesus, something like that, you know. And once I got to the top, I was covered. I had blood on my forehead, because I actually tried going through the drain, even though there was a cage there, because I tried squeezing through. I was like, I'm gonna die. I yelled one of my old buddies' names, that he was gonna somehow hear me. I don't know what was going on. It was like I thought I was being watched at the same time. I thought I was in a film, so I thought I'm always safe, like in the Truman Show. I kind of had that type of experience. So when I get up to the top, I feel like I look like Jesus. Like when I watched the movie, whatever it was, the movie about Jesus and God. I don't know what that one was called. But I watched it a while back, and I noticed that I kind of looked similar to him for some reason. I thought I was like a younger version of Jesus. I don't know. So I assumed I was just some prophet that was walking up the street, and people were like looking at, like, there he is. He's Jesus. Jesus is back. And as I walk up the street dirty, didn't know I was bleeding at first. Cold, no shoes on, so I went down in sandals or flip flops or whatever. And once I got home, my mom's like, "Why are you so dirty?" Whatever. And then I showered, so that she didn't have too much concern. She was still very concerned, but she was more worried about getting a flight to England, that sort of thing. And once she went to England, though, that's where the real adventure and experiences kicked in. So once she went to England, I was home alone for about, I don't know exactly. I haven't really looked back at the specific times, but I think it was about a week before I ended up in the hospital. And for that week, I don't know what times I slept. It was random sleeping times, staying up for a few days, I think. I don't remember. But I do know that it started getting crazier. Instead of messing with my bedroom, I messed with the whole house. So I started finding things in the house that I didn't notice before, I just wasn't aware of, or I just didn't have that much awareness towards those things. And when I started finding these things, I started piecing together, like, I'm Jesus, or am I the king of England, or the king of the world? Sort of like that. So I started going on like a manhunt. And then I just thought I was the star of my own movie. And I what did I do? I did a lot of stuff. I trashed the whole house. First of all, I broke our huge TV. I broke a lot of electronics, a lot of my mom's important perfumes, stuff like that. And she, I don't know. And I went to the forest a lot. So I was called to nature a lot, barefoot, or I always end up losing my shoes because I was doing these treks through the forests near my house. There's a few different forests, and just running through the mud barefoot, freezing, thinking I'm in a movie though, looking back, acting like cameras are watching me. There's hidden cameras everywhere, all times of the day too. Midnight, 3 in the morning, 6 in the morning, whatever times it was happening. I wasn't really paying attention. I was so present in the moment that I didn't worry about the past. I didn't worry about the future. I was like, oh, I'm special, I'm important, I'm me, I'm powerful, I can do whatever I want. And that resulted in me breaking into a house that was getting built, or a house that was already built, but it was still getting work done, and it was built by Planet Homes. So I kind of had a correlation with like planets, astrology, that type of thing, but I didn't really know. I wasn't really paying attention to that. And I broke into it, or the door was unlocked. I guess it was night. I broke in, or walk in, and I think this is my house. And then I try and get on the laptop that's in there. I didn't take anything, didn't steal anything, and I guess they had cameras in the house or something. Because when the cops showed up, I still thought it was a movie because the cops were singing Take Me Home, Country Roads, sweet, whatever song that is, right? Like, take me home, country roads, to the place I belong. They were singing that while I was getting arrested. So I just thought, oh, these cops work for me. It's a joke, something like that. And I thought I was like immune to getting arrested because they're all in on it. I'm the king, blah, 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 that type of thing. And when I got taken downtown to the city, downtown of my city, I got let go. I don't have a record still, and like I was surprised. I just got let go. I still don't remember too much about it, but I know I didn't get a record. I don't even think they took my name down. Maybe they did. I don't know. They just thought I was some crazy dude. I didn't do anything in the house, so they just kind of let me go. So I walk all the way from downtown. It's about an hour walk home, maybe 2 hours, and it was freezing. So I ended up getting home, and I was like, huh, maybe I gotta find more logic to the non-logical things about that. I don't know, something like that, right? So I'm trying to still add meaning and logic to something without actually worrying about it too much, and then whatever. So I trashed the house more. There's ice cream everywhere. There's shit all over the place. And I think what was it? Yeah, I broke into the car plant behind my house. It's a wrecked car plant. So there's all these trash cars. So I take my machete that I used to have, and I hop over the fence or under the fence, whatever it was. And this is just behind my house. So then I'm going through different cars trying to start them all, thinking I'm in a zombie apocalypse film. And then one of the guys like, yo, you can't be here, dude. What are you doing? So I hopped the fence. And then I think a cop was notified or something, because then I was walking down the street with a machete in the sheath, but still, I don't think you're supposed to. And then I ran through a pathway, came to my backyard, and I'm like, let me replan what I have to do. So then I go on my top floor in the house. It's a complex, so there's 3 floors. I'm in the basement right now. Then there's the main floor, and then there's the top floor. So I'm about 30 feet up in the air if you're on the roof. I ended up going on the roof, hop out my window, climb onto the roof, which was easier than I thought it would be, but it's not as safe as it should have been. No, it wasn't safe. So then when I get on the roof, I run across the roof, and then I'm like, I gotta get down some point, and I'm super high up. So I'm at the other end of the complex, and then I hang off, and then I was like, shit, this is really high. So I was trying to scale it like some Assassin's Creed type moves, but I didn't end up doing it. I dropped my vape that I guess I had or whatever it was, and then I fell. And then I just landed and I got right back up. So that was kind of a miracle, but at the same time, it wasn't like it was super, super high, but it was about, 28, 30 feet in the air, and it didn't affect me whatsoever. I got right up, went back into the house, or whatever happened. I don't remember exactly the whole chronological order of everything, but this is for sure happened. And I ended up going back to the house, and then probably just venturing out a bunch more times into that night, during the day, whatever it was. And then eventually I'm in the bathtub, and my dad comes home, and my dad comes because he lives somewhere else. He comes in and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Because everything it was trashed. My mom had to claim insurance, and it was trashed. And I ended up taking my sweet ass time, and he called the cops. And from after like the fact, I was told that there was about 30 or 40 different cops. There was SWAT, just because they heard I had a machete, and I didn't have it at that point. I put it somewhere in the forest or something like that. And I came out of my house. I put on a pink thong, and then I got arrested. Pink thong and a fedora. And I actually saw a picture that my mom got taken off Facebook from a photographer or something, but it was of me getting into the ambulance with a pink thong on from the back and the fedora, and that's all I was wearing. And then I go in to the ambulance, go to the hospital. I'm in the lockup, whatever, I think for the first 2 days. I broke my pinky off the wall trying to punch it because somebody had to go to the bathroom or something. They wouldn't let him out. So it's like, let him out, whatever. And then I was in the hospital for about an extra 30 days after that. And through that process, I learned patience. I learned the art of reading again, because I never read except for books in high school. I started reading again. And now I love reading. And I don't seem to have really come out of, it's not like, so I was in this psychosis, but even though they were putting me on meds, it didn't really go away. It's just my thought process changed. So I was like, oh, I know what happened. Even in the hospital, until I got out, I still thought I was like some type of special prophet. And then upon coming out, I started watching spiritual videos. I started learning the art of meditation. I started reading more spiritual books. And then I realized, oh, spiritual awakening. And even throughout that whole process, I kind of knew it was a spiritual awakening because I did a little bit of research then, but I wasn't focusing too much on that aspect. And then here we are. What is it, like 6 months later, something like that? And now we're good. Now we are much better to learn meditation, reading, getting out in Mother Nature, grounding, all that type of stuff. So if you like this video, if you have a similar experience, share it down below in the comments. Let me know what your psychosis, spiritual awakening experience was. And I look forward to hearing from all of you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you subscribe, pop that subscribe button. Thank you for watching this video. It really means a lot. There's a bunch more coming at you. Peace, love, happiness.